this is over. The US for the past 4 years has been giving Huawei a hard time. This to some extent has slowed down the growth of Huawei both in China and at the global level. But now it looks like Apple and Samsung are now becoming the new targets, as the US government is planning to impose a new tariff on Apple as well as Samsung. For some time now, the Trump government has been pushing American firms to bring back manufacturing to the US. This was one of the key reasons behind the recent and as well as the current ongoing trade war between the US and China, as China is seen as a key rival to the US when it comes to technological advancements. As a result of this rivalry, Apple has been trying to shift part of their manufacturing base from China to other economies in Asia, for which India has been one of the most favorable destinations. Apple did this thinking this might soften the stance of the current US government, but as things stand now, Apple recently received a new notice from the US government, giving Apple the hint that if they are unable to bring the production of iPhones back to the US, they will be slapped with 25% tariff on all iPhones imported into the US, which therefore means that even iPhones manufactured in India, Vietnam, and Thailand will equally be affected. Putting this aside, the US government has also given the hint that they might be widening this new tariff to target certain products manufactured by Samsung as well. So, the question is, can Apple really ship the production of iPhones back to the US? And what would be the implication if they are able to pull this off? Now, let's dive deeper into this. After years of cracking down on Huawei with chip bans and export restrictions, the US seems to be tightening the screws, this time on their own tech giants, for which Apple seems to be the target. If this new tariff goes through, it could spell major trouble for Apple, for reasons being that Apple for the past 2 years has been struggling in their second largest market, which is China, following the recent comeback of Huawei. So, these new tariffs could put Apple in a very tight corner, even though Apple for the past few years has been trying to diversify their production by moving some of their production facilities to India, Vietnam, and Thailand. As things stand now, around 80% of iPhones are still made in Chinese factories, which should tell you how important China is to Apple. The biggest challenge for Apple lies in the fact that it took Apple over a decade and huge sums of investment to be able to build the current sophisticated supply chains they have in China. Aside this, the Chinese government equally played a major role in making this possible. So, asking Apple all of a sudden to relocate their production plants back to the US within this time is highly impossible, for reasons being that, per a number of analyses done by experts from the Wall Street, if Apple were to relocate iPhone's production to the US, this alone could lead to an increase of the price of iPhones sold in the US by 25%. There is a reason Apple went to China at the first place. Apple went to China as an attempt to beat down the cost of production associated with iPhone's production. I believe the best way to get Apple to relocate back to the US isn't necessarily about threatening them with tariffs, but by replicating the same sophisticated supply chains they currently have in China. If the right systems are made available in the US, American tech firms will automatically think of coming back to the US. Now, the bigger question now is, will Apple be able to bring back productions into the US? And do you think these demands being made by the US government is realistic? Do you think governments around the world should interfere in the decisions of tech firms, or they should just create the necessary business environment and allow these tech firms make decisions based on their own business policies? Kindly let me know your thoughts in the comment section. And if you find this content informative, kindly don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss my next update. See you in the next one. I'm out.